Okay, good. Okay, so would you like to give a recap, Vignesh, from wherever you want? You can recap the whole Gita if you want, or the 18th chapter, or whatever you
Yeah.
covered with him.
Yeah. So, we are discussing about chapter 18, the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
So, as of now, Krishna has already covered most of the topics till 17th chapter. So, he's kind of giving a summary. And along with that, he'll be mentioning about the emphasis on the devotional service as we move forward. So, initially, we discussed about some Karma Yoga in the initial few verses of this 18th chapter, a summary.
Yeah.
Then Krishna talked about Jnana Yoga, and finally, we spent a good amount of time discussing about various modes of nature, like knowledge in the three modes, action in the three modes,
Yeah.
like all the different kind, determination in three modes, happiness in three modes,
Yeah.
and after that, we discussed how we can worship Krishna by our work, irrespective of whether, like for performing occupational duty, like being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, we can perform worship Krishna through our work.
Yeah.
So that is what we discussed till 48 verses.
Yeah.
And now I think 11, 12 verses were there, which we had to discuss last time. But there was some homework. We submitted that homework, but there was no
Yeah.
discussion on that.
Actually, I printed it out.
Yeah.
So it's on 1854. Is that what it is? According to Srila Prabhupada in this verse, is the state of Brahmabhut the sort of impersonal realization, or is it something else? Is it those homeworks you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll go through
The
that.
question started from 1854.
Yeah,
We had to discuss from 48.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm on board. He sent me the homework that he sent you.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, 48, 47. Yes, we are learning 40, even from 45, 46. That even by a very action itself, gain we can gain perfection. So it is the perfection of Karma Yoga here, 45 through 48. Basically, we went from Sakam to Nishkam now. So just by our prescribed duties, what we learned in the Gita earlier on, we can perform these duties to achieve the result. Just like Janak did, actually, Janak Maharaj. And 46, Yana Sarvamidam Takam. And of course, he discussed for that kind of fellow in 12, what is it, 12.7, Teshamaham Samudarta, I'm the quick deliverer. Because the idea here is that it can be practically turned into bhakti, provided this Nishkam Kama Yoga can be turned into bhakti. More we put our heart into it, more we put our heart into our Svakarma now, whatever occupation, Yatkaroshi, Yadashnashi, more we are doing it out of love, gradually it's going to be shifting into Bhakti Yoga. So, and of course, 47 is we ring a bell with whatever we covered in 335. It's practically cut and paste shlok. I don't know if you noticed. Practically the same. Why is it more important to perform one's own work imperfectly even than perfectly someone else's?
Yeah. Like it's just like the way Arjuna, the case here with Arjuna was there. Like he was trying to renounce the thing and acting here like a sannyasi.
Yeah,
But Krishna said that no, you have Kshatriya, so and that is your nature. If we don't act upon our nature and try to imitate someone else's activity, which is doesn't befit our own nature and quality, then sooner or later it will be incompatible for us, and we will not be able to do a proper justice to that work,
yeah,
and ultimately we'll come back to our innate nature.
exactly. 3.5, everyone is bound to act according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes. There's a saying in French, kick out the natural, he'll come back galloping to you. It's a saying, actually. So Vishwanath is saying on this one, worshipping Krishna by one's own prescribed duty, offering it to him. This is while thinking of him, of course. Mamanusmala Yudhyacha. Within one's mind, this is the best course of action. And then in the core of our hearts, may you please be satisfied with this humble offering. So this is the path of perfection, actually. This is, everyone can come to that. It's not rocket science in one sense. You are basically, harvesting your field down the road. No work is abominable, actually, if it is performed in the service of the Lord. Of course, if you're a butcher, it's going to be difficult to link it. But I mean, except a few exceptions, even an army man, Arjuna was an army man. So, whichever Vanashram, Samsiddhi Ritoshanam, otherwise, Shamai Kevalam, it's a waste. Basically, it's a waste of time. Okay, so 48. Did you touch it, or was it touched upon or not?
So what we did is basically we just read all the 12 verses. There was some network issue in between, but we didn't got any time to discuss on that.
Okay. So, yeah, no work is abominable, basically, as long as it is performed in the service of the Lord. Whether you're Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, doesn't matter. Because these are upadis, and we know Vanashram is not actually considered one of the 64 Bhakti Anga. It's a safety net, definitely, but per se, we don't have to. Basically, we follow Vanashram, just like Krishna tells in Uddhav, in Gita, as long as we are not sufficiently hooked up by Krishna Katha. There's a verse like this. Yeah. Once we are satiated by Krishna Katha, we are totally fulfilled, then we can let go. But Prabhupada did say also that just for the sake of edifying others or educating others, we should, to some extent, as far as possible, stick to our Vanashram duty. That is why Lord Krishna was not so happy with Vishvamitra and Drona even, because they changed their dharma, their Svadharma. So he was not so happy, actually. He told, I don't know if you know, well, of course you know, at the end of Mahabharata, before Drona was basically committed suicide, he went into Samadhi, and actually he left the world himself. He left his own body as his own will. But as you remember, Lord Krishna preached to him. Remember? He said, you've been at fault, Drona. Always protecting your son, not paying heed to good advice, as you ended up on the wrong side of the team. So, and then at the end, very end, remember, Drona kind of agreed, and he surrendered to Lord Krishna. I don't know if you remember that portion of Mahabharata. So it's always stained with faults. Brahmin may, not now, but in the days of yore, they used to kill animals. The merchant tends to lie. No, nothing new, even today. Even in those days, I'm going to make a low profit on you, but they have so many strings attached, the Vaishyas. Diplomats, Kshatriya use diplomacy. Sometimes they bribe, sometimes they send gifts, sometimes they send girls even to make to get to sign the contract or to sign the alliance, they kill. So there's always fault here and there, basically. But as long as it is dovetailing Krishna consciousness, we have to be careful with the money, because sometimes in the name of money, we collected a lot. Prabhupada can definitely, a few times he was handed over illegal money. And he said, yes, I'll take it, but no more. Because, unless and until you are able to dovetail it entirely in Krishna consciousness, you may burn your wings. So everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode he has acquired from nature, and it's nothing new. So this is what it is, basically. So that's, in that sense, that 48, 47 also defeats the Arjun's refusal to fight, because Lord Krishna is always at the same motive. Let me convince him. So his Svadharma is a Kshatriya, so stick to it. So he's being defeated here, basically. There's no fault. Don't hesitate to fight the other party, especially if you do it for me. Fight out of duty without counting your success or failure. So now we could ask ourselves, Baladev is asking in 47 is, what if one possesses the nature of quality of work of one Varna, but wishes to perform work in a different Varna? So this is 48, basically. So this is what it is. So he's saying, Krishna confirms that all prescribed duties, not only the work of the Kshatriya, contain faults, we just discussed. So one should therefore cleanse away the faulty part of one's duty by offering the duty to the Supreme Lord. Sometimes it happens to us. I mean, we were collecting for New Mayapur, like 30 years ago. We had to save it. The place was auctioned off. It was lost. It was a lost case. It has been reclaimed back from ISKCON. ISKCON was blacklisted. The whole thing was finished, gone. And we had to collect, and it was very heavy stuff. We were not hardly selling books, mostly selling paintings, and some of, not me, but some, I have seen even devotees getting so much in a mode of passion, misbehaving, with people because there was so much pressure. We had to make 2,000 francs a day without fail to come to the deadline, to put the money on the table before it's too late. There was tremendous pressure. And there was definitely some how do you say, inebrieties. While doing so, some devotees were so much in mode of passion, they may have got heavy with certain members of the public in the name of selling. Sometimes you get in a mode of passion. But since we offered everything to Krishna, one way or the other, it went through, So why do we serve? Why do we serve Krishna? Because that part of the duty that we offer to Krishna will give rise to knowledge. That is why more we offer, the bigger the part of the duty we offer to Krishna, the better. At no cost should we renounce. We have discussed so many times. 326. Nabudibedam Jashayet Savakamani Vidvanyukta Samachara, and we should at no cost resort to inaction. Better to stick to our nature and engage others even a little bit, whatever it takes. Let them even put a little finger in the process of bhakti, offering their fruits to Krishna gradually. So devotion, yes. Detachment, yes. While working, but not renunciation of the fruits. This is a simple story. Yeah? Bhushan Prabhu used to tell us, actively engage, internally renounce. Actively engage, internally renounce. While working, yes, we work hard, but devotion, detachment, you're not attached to the fruits, 247, but never renounce the fruits. That's the main lesson. Never renounce the activity, I was saying. Never renounce the activities. Because that will cancel the defects inherent in the work. If you carry on doing the activity, even though the activity may be at fault, you may be not so expert at it, but still, because you offer to Krishna, that will remove the defect of the in the work itself. You follow?
Yeah, I was just thinking about like people talk about ambitions. We have to be ambitious. We have to focus on the goal.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that we shouldn't focus on the goal and not be ambitious? Because that may normally inspire us to follow the process, or should we just be
No,
like
ambition can be engaged in Krishna consciousness, you know. Prabhupada, in the beginning, it didn't work out, but that was his intention. Let me make money for my guru and my godbrothers, remember? And he stuck to his guns, he stuck to his job for a couple of decades even. It didn't work out. Didn't work out. So finally, he changed his gear. No, basically, just everything got pilfered by his students, by his employees, and he got the point. No, I'm being rooted left, right, and corner. My wife has no brain. She's selling the Bhagavatam for biscuits, against biscuits. But in the beginning, it was like that. Let me be successful. So you try, I mean, you can see for yourself. If it works, well and good.
Yeah.
I could see for myself when for years and years we collected, not for ourselves, and we were cleaning up. I used to make $1,000 a day, $1,000 a day for years, not a few days in a row. And at one point, I got married. I carried on collecting because I was so expert at it. And I used to make less money. I used to make money. Krishna didn't forget me. I was well off, but much less. So, we were empowered. When you do it for Krishna, you are empowered.
Yeah.
You follow? So now there's no harm. You are a little, you want, some devotees, they like comfortable life. Some devotees are austere, some others, they like to be a little well off, they want this sense of security. Okay. Krishna will give. The main thing is you have to remain connected to the Ishtadev, to the deities, local deities. When you do things for Krishna entirely, it's always, you have more results. I noticed that. So in 47 or 48, Prabhupada is saying, yes, that anything done for sense gratification, even in the course of service, is a cause of bondage. Dharmasya yapavagasya narturta yapakalpate, dharmasya navikantasya kamalabayo hismitaha. We should never, as we work for labato jivita yavata, as we work for the self of emancipation, of liberation, we should not use whatever we gain in the past, in the process of bhakti, we gain things. We should not use them towards self-gratification. Yeah. So that's what it is. The conclusion is right there. We should basically be engaged according to our guna. And as we dovetail that guna, gradually we will come to the mode of goodness. And goodness, we know, is a stepping board. So we remove the gunas by the guna of, it's like you remove a pawn by another pawn. So the guna of goodness will help us to become nirgun, in the sense that we practice more and more. It's like a staircase, basically. Goodness will reinforce your religious principles. Reinforcing your religious principles will reinforce your mode of goodness, and gradually you climb the staircase, and at one point you become nirgun, in the sense that you are no more. What is that verse? Kama Esha Kruda Esha. No, not this one in the Bhagavatam. Kama Jivata Lobata. What is that verse in 1:2:18 perhaps? Or Sheta Eter Anavider Sitam Sate Prasidati. After some time we get free gradually of the lower modes, Rajagun, Tamagun. Sitam Sate Prasidati, we become established in goodness. That is why we should stick to our guns, because like you may see the president, always a young guy, President is young. Yeah, sometimes he confesses to me. He's a nice friend of mine. He could be my son practically, but he says it's hard because I'm so young. He's 39 only, and he's dealing with people who could be his parents. You know, so and it's hard for. I can imagine it's not easy for him. You know, president is a big project, and most of them are older than him. So he oftentimes asks me advice how to deal with them because they don't listen to me on the basis that he's younger. No. So they may say, well, I can do better as a president. No, your duty is not the president. He has been appointed by GBC, by Guru, by Krishna, basically. And he's doing a good job. So if you want to find fault with him, you better help him out. Help him out. So now we're trying to develop together the education aspect of New Mayapur, you know. I'm not passing judgment on his job. He's a good manager. I like him as a manager. It doesn't matter the age. As long as he fits the bill, you know. So we should not give up our natural occupation. Even if there's disturbing elements, or people don't like me, I'm so young. We're not here to gain popularity. This is another point. 245, remember? We're not here for safety, for comfort, or I found my niche, I found my sweet spot. Otherwise, it's tyag in the mode of Rajagun, remember?
Yeah.
It's, I don't want to do my tyag, my renunciation, because actually it's going to make me unpopular. It's going to make me uncomfortable. It's going to show to the world that I'm not really advanced. This is Rajagun. On the contrary, you stick to your position, whatever it is, president, a cook, and you stick to it, and people will say, well, he sticks it out. This is a mode of goodness to maintain one's position. And Krishna will, on the spot, you will learn gradually. Rejecting whimsically is the mode of Tamagun and Rajagun, actually. Rajagun. So this is a perfectional point, actually. Prabhupada didn't waver. He stuck to his gun, you know. Krishna consciousness. He got the instruction from his guru. Didn't work out in India. Let me go to America. You know, because Krishna is reciprocating. Okay, so I mean, it looks like she didn't show up, huh? I mean, I left the message. I don't know.
Did she check the message? I'm not sure.
I mean, I sent, you were there. I sent her a vocal message. I guess she spaced out or something. See, it went through these 2 bars. Or perhaps she got busy in the meantime or something. I was clear. Now I cannot do it at 4 anymore. I teach at 5:30, so. Okay, do you have any question, Vignesh? Is it clear? I mean, it's quite straightforward. Yeah. So basically now we're going from 49. We're shifting gear a little bit. 49, 50, all the way to, I would say, let's see, 55. I would say we are going up. It's a 1 notch or 2 notches up now. Nishkam Kama Yoga, okay, but all the way to Moksha Nirvan, basically. Yeah? And then through Moksha Nirvan, we're going to basically to Bhakti Yoga. Very clear, huh? Because you can see 51, 53. This is talking about liberation here. 51, 53 is liberation. And then moving on forward for further confidential Gyan, we will discuss so much confidential, more confident, more confidential. So all the way to pure bhakti, basically. At the end of this verse of the book is pure bhakti. So going from akarma going through Jnana Yoga, basically 51, 53 is the path of the inactive stage. Buddhism used to call it like this, the path of the inactive stage. So basically Jnana Yogi, karma free through Jnana Yogi. Then Brahmabhut, Brahmabhuta Prasanatma, Nashochatina Kangshati, then pure bhakti. This is the path basically. So here we're going Jnana Yoga, 49, and then all the way to Brahmabhut. What it is.
Okay.
So we are shifting, and now we're shifting a bit to Jnana Marg, and we were in Karma Yoga a lot. And that's the second stage. Remember, we discussed way back 6.3, 6.4. Remember the second stage of the Yoga Rudha. Beginning is Yoga Rudukshu. He still has to do actions. It looks like Karma Yogi. But at the end of the day, once he becomes perfected, 6.3, 6.4 is written there. Yoga Rudha. He becomes a perfected Ashtanga Yogi. So it sounds a bit like the same. 49. You can go ahead.
Yeah. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain a practice of denunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction.
Yeah, that's what it is. It sounds a bit like 6.3, 6.4. It's a Jnana, very high Jnana Marg Yogi here. I mean, Jnani pertaining to Jnana Marg. Yeah? It's definitely is on the top level of Jnana. Yeah. And of course, Prabhupada reminds us, 247, don't be entitled to the fruits of work, we know. 6.1, this is basically what we want. Anashita kamafal, nakayam nakaroti cha. Don't work as you're obligated only. And mostly don't be attached kamafal to anashrita. Don't take shelter of the kamafal. And then he goes in the purport. Yeah, he's paraphrasing 521, I can see. You're not entitled to anything material. You can see Prabhupada is always putting the bar very high. Huh? He doesn't joke. Huh? We're not entitled to anything material. Yeah, he's pushing us. He's pushing us towards this goal, to become only find pleasure in the service of the Lord alone. That's pure devotion service. Prabhupada used to say anything short of pure bhakti is maya. I mean, how can you reconcile with that? We don't want nothing less. This is the ultimate goal. But at least we don't have to apparently externally accept the so-called order of renunciation if we are in Krishna consciousness. Because what is the renunciation in Krishna consciousness? Sarvabhauma is explaining that. Whatever doesn't foster our Krishna consciousness should be rejected. So this is the renunciation for a devotee. Whatever that doesn't foster, encourage your bhakti should be rejected. Whatever fosters, whatever encourages your bhakti should be accepted. So our definition of renunciation differs quite a lot from the regular Orthodox, I would say. Yeah. So Nishkaramyam Siddhim, it says here. Nishkaramyam Siddhim Paramam. We know practicing of Nishkamya Karma Yoga leads to giving up the work, sannyas. But that's karma sannyas. We don't want that. We want nitya sannyas. As discussed in the 5th chapter, we want nitya sannyas. Because we know, Narad is telling, Nishkamya apyuta chuta bhava varjitam. Even Nishkamya devoid of achyuta bhav, nashobate, doesn't look good. So the real sannyas is 6.1, is the one in Krishna consciousness. Because sannyasi is supposed to be free from the reactions of his past activities. But the person in Krishna consciousness, by definition, automatically attains this perfection. You follow? Yes. Even without taking the order of sannyas. You know, it's not just external. Okay, so 50.
Yeah.
You stop me if you want to say anything.
Yeah, it's clear for me. Yeah. Text 50. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize.
Yeah, so you can see, you can see for yourself. We're moving on from Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sannyas, then rejecting the work itself. That's what it is. It's like the Yoga Ruda in 6.4. You know, they reject even action. Because action for Ashtanga Yogi at that level is detrimental. It's even ruffling his mind. It's ruffling, is contradicting his process. So they're going to reject basically action. But then we're going to go through that path of the inactive stage coming up now. We're going to go through Brahma Bhut. But we could also, in one stroke, just like 828, practicing pure devotional service, in one stroke, we become Brahma Bhut also, you know. So here, Krishna is showing you the way to reach Brahma Bhut, okay, but via different means, like Kama Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sannyas, Kama Sannyas, and then Brahma Bhut. But as far as we are concerned, just like 1426, Mamshaja Vyabhichanena, Bhakti Yogena Sevate, Sagunan Samatitetan, Brahma Bhuya Kalpate, this is Brahma Bhut also. But 1426 is achieving Brahma Bhuta by means of pure bhakti. You follow the difference? Yeah. Whereas here, Krishna is delineating a path which is basically step by step. Karma, Jnana Yoga, Sannyas, Kama Sannyas, then Brahma Bhuta. Is delineating it for the sake of those who want to do it, because Krishna is, you know, he wants to bring everyone back home, not only the devotees. So he's kind of opening the spectrum of the Gita very wide, so that those who are onto that path or who are enamored by this path, they can recognize themselves. Oh, yes, I can identify to what he's saying here, because this is my path. But as far as we are concerned, we are more into 1426 or 55 or 56, you know. So basically this verse 50 refers to the yogi on the path of Jnana Marg, basically. Even 51, 53. So he has purified his consciousness through work, just like the Ashtanga Yogi. And he has even already progressed from the stage of Kama to the stage of Gyan. So Vishwanath explained nicely on this one. You may have the commentary of Vishwanath.
Yeah, I have it, yeah.
You have it?
Yeah, I'll have to open that, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because it's quite clear on 4950, he's saying, if the case, that being the case that all work is covered with fault, then the person on the first level of sannyas, he rejects the faulty aspects of work. So what does he have to reject? We have to dig into that. What does he have to reject? He has to reject the mentality of being the doer. This is what he has to reject. I'm doing it. I'm rejecting the work myself. No. And he has to reject the expectation of profit. 330. Remember, Mayi Kamini Savani, offer me, this is the first time Krishna, Mayi unto me, Krishna, Arjun, sorry, 330, offer the works unto me. So we have the sannyas here, the karma sannyas. He should reject the mentality of considering himself the doer and the expectations of prophet also. Then gradually he's going to perform his sadhana, and then he will give up the work itself. This is basically what he's telling here in 49. Ashakta Buddhi Savatra. That's the second stage of sannyas. But again, that's not our path. It's a tedious path, but it is delineated by Krishna, so we should acknowledge it. So you get the point?
Yeah, I was thinking like this was spoken 5,000 years back, but now if we connect with today's times, it doesn't find very much relevant, right? It looks very much odd in today's time.
Exactly. Remember, he spoke the Gita 50 centuries ago.
Yeah.
So the context was different. You can even, it's very interesting. I started BV now, Bhagavatam, and I got the commentary of Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath. But you can see that, you can very clearly see it's pertaining to those epochs. Jiva 16th century, Vishwanath 18th century. So, I mean, they are great, but sometimes it's totally understandable. They are not in touch with 21st century. So who is in touch with 21st century? Prabhupada. The way he has phrased his purports is much more relevant to, especially the Videshis. It seems to me that, correct me if I'm wrong, but when he wrote the purports, he was mostly aiming at the Videshis, the Westerners. So he had practically to revamp, even though he had access to all his commentaries. Yes, 11 of them. Sridhar Swami, Vishwanath, Virarajwaj Maharaj, Ramanuj, Baladev. But you can see it's tour de force, because I have access to a few. Some of them are totally over my head, number one. Number two, they're not relevant to my focuses of learning that I'm trying to achieve in my lesson planning. So I just, grab a little bit here and there. Sometimes it adds up, okay. But most of the time, it's not relevant because we're dealing with 21st century, And we're dealing with practically non-Indians. They're not born in India. They find themselves even way out there, even compared to Indians today. Some of them have never been to India. But still, they are willing to undertake the lesson. They want to go. They want to learn. They want to. So we have to cater to these people. That is why I'm realizing more and more the greatness of Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Because you feel, oh, this is Vishwanath Chakravarti, this is Jiva Goswami. You want to verbatim repeat. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Sometimes it does, 5%, 2% here, 3% there. But overall, people are just, it goes over their head. Because it's like different context, 16th century, 18th century. So we can understand that the devotee who has worshipped the Lord by his work will not attain Brahman realization, Brahma Buddha, in the same way as does the Jnana Yogi. He's going to attain by dint of bhakti. He has been purified, that devotee, by detached work. He attains freedom from false ego and moves forward, and not only he serves Brahman, he serves Param Brahman. Param Brahma, Paradam, Pavitramidam Uttamam, 10-12. Krishna is Param Brahman. Mam Shadu Vaksharina. No, next one. 1427. How does it go? Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I'm the source of Brahman. So our goal is not Brahman, my dear friend. Our goal is Para Brahman. Who explained that? Sridhar Swami explained Krishna is the condensed form of Brahman. This is beautiful. Condensed form of Brahman. So now we're moving into the process, and this is the process of an advanced Jnana Yogi, and is going further. 51, 53 is very high. Go ahead.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who's always in trance and who's detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self realization.
So you can see where it's coming from. It's basically the path of the inactive sage. It's basically is a very advanced Jnana Yogi now. And finally, he makes it. He made it. Brahmabhut. That's it. But it's coming from a different direction. Brahmabhuya Kalpate. And now we're going to see 54 is different. So Apo Yamanam, we discussed long back, 270, is totally equipoised, just like so many waves, so many rivers merge into the ocean that remains equipoised. So he has definitely captured his desire. They are at bay. He controls. But what we want to hear is 54, because this is our school, basically.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This is a key verse, by the way. I think you have to learn it by heart. 55. Okay. Yeah, 54.
Text 54.
Yeah.
One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
Yeah. So basically, that's the adhika of Uttamadhikari here. Very clear. So far we were discussing about the impersonalist. Oh, she's coming. Better late than never. So the question remains. We could ask, it's a theological question. Must we suffer in this world? Or can we be happy? Are we entitled to happiness? That's sometimes it seems for a beginner in Krishna consciousness, well, we have to, it's a very rigid path. You know, we should always bite the bullet, as they say. You know, it's tough, it's never hard. Hare Krishna, Goloka.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So let me see you to get purified. Hare Krishna. So better late than never. She cannot even hear me.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So can you hear?
Yeah, there was no sound.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mixed up the time.
Oh my God, Hare Krishna.
Can you hear? Hare Krishna.
Oh, we have daylight saving over here.
I don't know.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You know, yeah, because we have daylight saving, we lost 1 hour. So don't do that in other country.
Yeah, you have to write it down on your diary. Yeah?
I got mixed up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, better late than never. We are into 1850.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah?
I'm sorry.
So the question could arise, Vignesh and even Goloka.
51?
50. We are into 54 now, basically. Must we suffer? 54. Is it compulsory that we suffer? Is it part of the process of bhakti? Or are we entitled to be happy?
I think we are entitled based on our karma, right? I think it has to be based on our action, karma. Happiness or distress will come and go. So that shouldn't affect ideally our bhakti. That is what I think.
Yeah. In other words, the key of legitimate happiness is right here. if you come to the level of Brahma Bhut, then you become happy by dint of bhakti.
Yeah.
By dint of bhakti. Because otherwise, Prahlad is, very specific, 742. I don't know if you know that verse. It's quite echoing with 54. He goes, Sukhaya, Dukhamokshaya, Sankalpaiha Kaminaha, Sadupno Tihaya, Dukam Anihaya, Sukhavritaha. He goes, in this material world, every materialist desires to achieve happiness and diminishes distress. True. And therefore, he acts accordingly. Actually, however, one's happy as long as one doesn't endeavor for happiness. See? It's amazing. As long as you don't endeavor for material happiness, you're happy. As soon as one begins its activities for happiness, material happiness, its conditions of distress begins. It's Prahlad, it's not me. Huh? So, in other words, we get it backwards. We are thinking, by increasing sense gratification, I'm going to be more happy. We are going, nimitani pashyami. What is that verse? Viparitani, nimitani pashyami. It's just like Arjuna, only see causes of infortune. So let me back out. Let me rather engage into sense gratification. I'll be happy. No, exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. Prahlad is saying here, as soon as you remain aloof, virakti, nirapeksha, whatever comes your way, fine, great. You're invited to a great feast. You're invited to, a marriage or whatever it takes for social life. Okay, but at the end of the day, this is what you call it in the 17th chapter or 14th chapter, happiness in the mode of goodness. It made in the beginning maybe bitter, but at the end it's nectar. So nectar, what does it mean? 54. It is the nectar. At one point you become totally happy. It's not a material happiness, it's a spiritual happiness. Unbounded.
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of bhakti. According to 1426, bhakti starts there. Brahma Bhut. Nirgun bhakti. So it's very interesting because, we have discussed the path of an inactive sage. They're ending up there. This is their last. They have reached home, basically. We're starting there. You see the difference, Nash?
Yes.
You can see the difference. Such a long, arduous journey. I'm Brahma Bhut. Great. We are actually, bhakti starts there. The process starts there for us. So you can see, philosophically, it doesn't tally at all. Because for him, the Brahma Bhut fellow, the personalist fellow, he has achieved Brahma Bhut, and then, okay, let me become one with the Absolute. And Krishna will grant that. Yes, my dear boy. Okay, you merge. There's no anxiety. Okay, you don't want anxiety. You go to Brahman. There's no anxiety. You're right. But for us, we are the only one who can question Brahma Bhut. We can question that, say, no, we want further. We want, just like Ilan Mayena Patrena Satya Syapaitam Mukham 15, Shreya Show. I want to see the face of Brahma Bhut. What is Brahman? What is the face of Brahman? Parabrahman, Krishna. So we go much further. Plus, without the arduous path, we know 12.5, Kleshoti Katarastesham, Avyakta Shakta Shitasam, is arduous, troublesome. So in that sense, we are, even though beginning it seems a bit rigid because we're coming from the natural world, but at the end of the day, we're gonna already, to a great extent, we are happy. Sometimes the modes are taking over, but at the end of the day, we'll be totally happy. Plus, What is the bonus? You're going back to Krishna. And we know from 10:232, 38 perhaps, Renye Ravindaksha Vimukta Maninas. You know the verse, Vignesh, right? Yeah. And then Panchangriya, they haven't clasped the lotus feet of the Lord. Patantyadaha, they fall back down. The guy, he has, can you imagine, he has, managed to come to Brahmabhut, he emerges, but you cannot remain in Brahman forever. Patantyadaha, you fall back down.
Yeah.
So you can see by all means, it doesn't tally. It doesn't tally. They're ending where we start, basically. This is what Prabhupada says here in his own words. I'm putting in my own words, but that's what he's saying. So key verse.
So one is situated in Brahman. Again, he may fall down, right? I just want to understand then what is the difference between Shantaras and Brahman platform? Like Shantaras, we talk about one is neutral. No one, it doesn't actually renders active service to Krishna.
Exactly.
So what is the difference between Shantaras, being situated in Shantaras and being situated in Brahman platform?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, many acharyas, as you may know, refuse. They don't accept Shantaras. They say it starts from Dasyaras. Quite a few acharyas, I don't know if you noticed. They say, no, Shantaras is not in the picture. Dasyaras. Because definitely, Shantaras would be, like you are neutral. You're not engaged in service. So it's not really ringing a bell in the spectrum of Krishna consciousness, because you're not actively engaged. It's more or less like we discussed here, like the path of the inactive sage, 51 through 53. It is not covetable. So 54, that's what we want. Because there's service. Mad bhaktim labate param. So it sounds like 1426. Finally, you start pure bhakti. So, but see, the difference is while getting there, we are at least on the right path. We don't stop there. We may be in beginning, anishtita bhakta, okay? Struggling with the 6 symptoms, Tarangarangini, we're dealing with Niyamakshana, so many symptoms are there. But we are at least, it's a two-way traffic. Krishna is helping us even from day one. Whereas the Brahmabhut fellow who's coming from the path of Jnana-marg, he has no two-way traffic. He's alone, struggling on his own. He hasn't strived to reawaken his sambandha with Krishna. He hasn't been told. So it's arduous. It's arduous. You follow?
Yeah.
So what does it mean inactive? That doesn't do anything, like even meditation?
Yeah, you're right. It's a bit like the Ashtanga Yogi we discussed in 6.4. Basically, it's called Yogarudha. Just like I was telling Vignesh before you came, in the beginning, Ashtanga Yoga, he has to resort to karma. It's a bit like similar to karma yoga. It's called Yogarudha. So he's resorting to action. But at some point, very soon, as soon as he reaches Yogarudha, he has to stop action. So there's no sambandha with Krishna. He doesn't do bhakti at all. And it's mentioned in 51, 53 here. You can see he's trying to be equiposed, just like we discussed in the Sri show also. He doesn't hate anyone. He doesn't. So you can reach that level by dint of bhakti. It's much safer, and you go much further. Because here, Goloka, they stop here. This is the last stop of the train. They get off the train now. What are they going to do? Unless they are being told, 628, unless they have been told. When the Ashtanga Yogi in 628, you can say, that's it. He can see the Lord in the heart. This is the perfection of Ashtanga Yogi. He can, Dhyayana, Vashtita, Manaso, he can see the Lord in the heart. So now there's two choices. Either he identifies with this Paramatma in the heart, that's me, or he becomes a pure devotee on the spot. This is the Lord, I'm going to serve him. He's a pure devotee on the spot. Then it starts its journey. 54, 55.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Those who meditate, when they reach Brahman, in Brahman state, mean they're fully satisfied. They don't need anything. They feel very fulfilled.
Yes.
In this stage.
Yes.
So they don't have to engage in
okay. So very good question. Vignesh will answer.
No, as per my understanding, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that Jiva the Sarupa hai Krishna Nitya Das. So we have that attitude of service attitude. That is something which is intrinsic in us. And if that service attitude is not acted upon, sooner or later we may lose a taste and fall down, because that is what is our intrinsic nature is. So I think perhaps they don't get after some time they may get bored or something, that they're not able to serve what they're meant to do, and probably they fall down.
Exactly. The proclivity for action is not exercised. They cannot exert the proclivity for action. Prabhupada gives the example. He's going from Mayapur to Calcutta. He stops on the way for picnic. He tells the devotee, you stay here under the tree. We're going. So the devotee is quite baffled. How can you imagine? You stay here. We're going. So the devotee is totally nonplussed. And then Prabhupada is telling everyone, okay, let's go. So the devotees sit under the tree. Then what am I supposed to do? Then Prabhupada comes back. He tells him, see, if I tell you to sit here, you're going to do it for some time. I'm your guru. But after 1 or 2 days, you'll get up and do something. You won't listen to me because you have to do something. So in the same way, Patan Chadaha, they fall down, Goloka. Just like, why do you think this Atmara verse is so important, 1:7-10? Atmarama Shamunayo, Negranti Apyuru Krame. Kovantia Etukim Bhakti, Itambuta, Guno, Arihi. If they are already Atmaram, they are Atmakam. What else you want? Still, Itambuta Guno Hari. They are perplexed. They have been agitated by the Guna Hari, the qualities of Hari, which is legitimate. Even Shukadev Goswami, there's a verse in the Bhagavatam, first canto. Yeah. I was equipoised as a monist, transcendental monist. It was on the highest platform, the four Kumars, same story, on the highest platform of Nirgun Brahman, Brahmabhut. They have already Nirvan, Moksha Nirvan. They can even enter Vikund. But Shukadev is saying, I got totally entranced, enraptured by Srimad Bhagavatam, as told by my fathers yesterday. I got entranced. I became a Bhagavat school. I got totally ushered in the Bhagavat school by dint of Srimad Bhagavatam. He heard it. And to hell with my monist, monism path, type of path, So there's two ways. The long way, 12.5, arduous, troublesome, kleshodikastadashtesham, or the nice way. And even if, let's say for the sake of argument, even if we fall down, we don't want to fall down. There's no fear of meeting failure. Chakva Swadharmam Sharanam Bujam Hare Bhajana Bhagavad Tat Patet Tatu Yadi Yatrakva Badrama Bhutta Mushya Kim Kuvata Apta Svajatam Swadhamataha. Narayan is saying there's no chance of failing on this path. There's no chance. Even if you stop on the way, Krishna again will put you back. You cannot lose. It's a win-win. But still Krishna is showing us different paths for the sake of the reader, Everyone can feel himself or herself at home. Yes, this is my path. I like it. I can recognize this path. This is my path.
So the reason we choose different paths because of our independence.
And the guna karma, the modes of nature. Krishna says to Uddhav, the modes will affect everything. The way you speak, your religion, the way you drink, the way you eat, the way you associate with your children, the way you live. Even the dharma is affected by the modes. Not affected by the modes, but what I'm saying is it will influence such and such jiv to partake to that dharma. Upadharma, Chaya Dharma, Ketava Dharma. And the other one is going to take backward dharma. Why? Why didn't we become Muslim, Goloka? How come you're not Muslim? Because you have been differently impacted by the modes, due to your samskar from previous conditioning, by your grace, it's your good fortune, Bhagyavan. Plus devotee came to you, Madhyamadikari, please take a book. So he has paved the way for your Bhagyavan, good fortune. Then you are connected to the Maha Kripa of Prabhupada. Prabhupada doesn't discriminate, just like Mahaprabhu. This is an unheard type of Kripa we're going through. Unheard. This is unheard. Prabhupada is definitely one of the topmost acharya in our line. I wouldn't be surprised that next Dwapara Yuga, yesterday we'll put it into Srimad Bhagavatam. I wouldn't be surprised. Because he's rewriting Bhagavatam at the end of each Dwapara Yuga. I wouldn't be surprised. Yes, last Divya Yuga, great acharya came, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Totally plausible. It has to do with... yes, Prabhu.
I was just reading in, I think, Chaitanya Charitamrita somewhere. He was mentioning that in next Yuga, all this discussion will be mentioned by Vyasadeva. There were some words on that line by Chaitanya Mangal or Chaitanya Bhagavad that he was mentioning that next
Yuga.
He
has been predicted in Chaitanya Mangal. Even I've got a book on this one, where you can find notions of Mahaprabhu in Rig Ved, and even similarly where you can find, announcement of the heralding of Prabhupada, Chaitanya Bhagavad, Chaitanya Mangal, and even in the Vedas, we are going through history. We don't realize we are living history. We are in the thick of the history of the Gaur-lila, basically. We are in the Gaur-lila. We don't realize this is Gaur-lila. But Prabhu, do you think Prabhupada is not part of Gaur-lila? See, Senapati General.
We are very fortunate to be in that, it happens only once in 8.64 billion years, and we are somewhere close to that.
Yeah, exactly. And Prabhupada, who knows? At least Krishna is supposed to come once a kalpa. Mahaprabhu, yes, Mahaprabhu as avatari, because the other Kali Yuga, be careful, is Amsha. Mahaprabhu is just Amsha. Amsha Kala. It's not Mahaprabhu as we know here. It's not the same. It doesn't give Prem. It's not Prem Avatar. It's Amsha Kala. It's mentioned in CC. All Mahaprabhu is Avatari. This is unheard of. Unheard of. What to speak 500 years later, Prabhupada. So we got Krishna, we got Mahaprabhu, we got Prabhupada. As if we haven't understood as yet. So people say, well, there's no God, we are forlorn in this material world. What to do? So 54, I think we covered 54. Anything else on 54? You want to add up anything? So 55, I mean, if you are okay, you want to. So basically it starts from 54. Bhakti starts there, Brahmabhut.
Yeah. You want to read 55?
Yeah, go ahead.
One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is only by devotional service. When one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God.
By the way, I didn't answer 54. You had a question. I cannot answer it already myself, but is the state of Brahmabhut a sort of impersonal realization, Goloka?
Well, Brahmabhut, like we just discussed, it can be both.
What is it, Ignesh?
It can be, impersonal, also reach certain time, they become occupied, become silent.
Yeah, you're right in one sense, because the path of the inactive stage is coming to Brahmabhut, definitely.
And for the devotees,
yes,
they're always joyful in serving Krishna and bliss by engaging fully in devotional service.
Yeah. So then it brings to the next question, which is quite nice. I like it. In the absolute conception, there is no difference between the served and the servitor. Yet the distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. What do you say?
Oh, like we've been taught that we're always a servant of Krishna. We never become. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick.
Yeah, I can hear. Go ahead. Answer this one, or either one of you.
Okay, Vignesh, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just written an answer. As per me, there are two possible explanations for this. One is a common explanation that there is a qualitative oneness between the devotee and the Lord. At quantitatively, we are different. That is what we normally hear, that is the difference that exists. So, but Prabhupada here says that distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. So, according to me, another meaning could be that there is a concept of rasa, like Krishna considers his devotees equals or sometimes even superior, like in the state of Sakhya, Vatsal, and Madhurya. So if that conception is not there, of equality and even sometimes superiority, the distinction is not there, then it will not not be able to relish rasa. Exactly. There is a higher spiritual sense.
That's a very good point.
That is what I would say, that difference is not there, but still distinction is there. Like Krishna says that Mother Yashoda is my superior or someone else. So that is a distinction.
Yes.
From the point of rasa, that is a higher spiritual sense, according to me.
Yeah, it's an excellent answer. And I found a quote, because I'm totally engrossed in Bhagavatam now, because after you, I'm going to be teaching again, BV. So if you look at 1, 2, 11, it's same point. In the relative world, the knower is different from the known. Okay? But in the absolute truth, both the knower and the known are one and the same. In the relative world, the knower is the living spirit or superior energy, whereas the known is inert matter or inferior energy. Therefore, there's a duality of inferior and superior energy, whereas in the absolute realm, both the knower and the known are of the same superior energy. There are 3 kinds of energies of the supreme energetic. We know. Tatashta Shakti, Antaraga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti. There is no difference between energy and energetic. Yes. Shakti, Shakti Matayo, Abeda. But there's a difference of qualities of energies. The absolute realm and the jivas are of the same superior energy, But material world is inferior energy. The jiva in contact with the inferior energy is illusion, thinking it belongs to the inferior energy. Therefore, there is a sense of relativity in the material world. Because why the sense of relativity is there? Because we have identified elsewhere. If you don't identify elsewhere, there's no sense of relativity. It's very deep. Why? Because Bayam Vitya Bini Vishetatasyad Ishadapitasya Vipayaya Smitihi. As soon as you absorb yourself in something which is apparently different from Krishna, this is Maya. But it's not technically possible to absorb yourself in something which is apparently different from Krishna, because everything is within Krishna. So relativity means, you absorb yourself in something different. Then, in other words, we are para-prakriti, but we absorb ourselves in a para-prakriti. That creates the relativity. And then he goes, in the absolute world, there is no such difference because the knower and the known, therefore, there's no difference. Therefore, everything is absolute. You follow? As soon as you mix the energies, because we are mixing energies now. Basically, as I told you very often, we are like lesbians. Sorry to be so gross, but we are feminine and we want to enjoy another feminine Shakti. So because of that, it creates the world of relativity. If you don't make that mistake, you are in the absolute world. This is my conclusion. You follow, Vignesh?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Goloka,
It's like earlier also you mentioned that in one of the 14th chapter, Krishna mentioned Jiva as Purusha, as an enjoyer. But actually, yeah, so it's like we are trying to enjoy the Prakriti, which is ideally meant for Krishna.
Exactly. It creates a relative Dvitiya. The best verse is 11.5.3. You cannot beat it. Bayam Dvitiya Bini Vishetatasyat. As soon as you absorb yourself in something which is apparently different from Krishna, it creates Dvitiya. Dvitiya means duality. If you don't do that mistake, there is no duality. Very simple. That's Prabhupada is always, you have seen at home, he's in New York. No, this is great. This is a spiritual world. Where's the problem? Oh, yeah, sorry, Prabhupada. It's full of drug addicts and they are scattered on the floor. And wonderful. He sees everything connected.
I'm not following the question. Is that a question that Chandra asked, or you said it?
These are not my. Actually, I was not supposed to teach today. Huh? So I'm just filling in. Huh? So I'm using the question of Chandra actually. I don't want to step onto his tiptoes. I'm following. These are good questions, Mike, and answered. Vignesh answered very beautifully. Yeah. For the matter of brass, yes. 55. Did we get into 55? I forgot.
Yeah, we just recited 55.
Okay, so
but we're not discussed on that, I suppose.
Let's discuss about 55 then. It's a very important verse. So, by the way, you have to learn it, I think, by heart on this verse, if I'm not mistaken. So, without being one, it's very interesting. When we say Brahmabhut, what does it mean, Brahmabhut, for us as devotee? Let's ask it. Because Brahmabhut somewhere means one, right? So what does it mean to be one with the Supreme?
Yeah.
This is where the crust of the matter is right here. This is right here. If you're not one with the Supreme, you cannot render service to him. So in other words, it means Samadarshanat. As soon as you have equal vision with the Lord, You are Brahmabhut. Even if you don't fit the bill, even if you don't fit the description of the path of the inactive sage. You follow?
Yeah.
You have to, as soon as a devotee, we don't have to necessarily fit the path of the inactive sage, which is very lofty. We try to see as Krishna or as Prabhupada, we do the needful for the mission, then we become at least on the same platform of Samadarshanat. And then there's no difference between the served and the servitor. You follow?
Yeah.
But still, like Vignesh mentioned beautifully, a green tree, a green bird in the green tree remains a green bird separated from the green tree. It doesn't merge with the green tree. It merges apparently, but within the tree is distinct. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So 55, it's all about this consciousness, you know, following 54. Then, as far as we are concerned, we can reach out to Brahmabhut as a devotee, as an aspiring pure devotee. We become one in interest. We discuss in Sri Show number 7, unity in diversity, one in interest, Samadarshana. But we don't kill our individuality. This is where the Mayavadis put their foot in the mouth. They are thinking to become one, we have to kill our individuality. This is where they what do you say, sway away. Do you have any questions, Goloka, on this one? Is it clear? Then he goes Vishate. You can see this verse could be misconstrued, misinterpreted. Vishate. Vishate means to enter. See, how can they misconstrue that verb? They will misconstrue, definitely. What will they say? They will say, oh, yes, I told you, Vishate. We become homogeneous with the impersonal Brahman. They will jump on that verb. Vishate. Tadanantanam. But that it takes a pure devotee, Prabhupada, you know, to explain the intricacies. Tadvataha. You have to understand Tadvataha. They don't get it Tadvataha. This is the problem. They may be Brahmabhut. Even we discussed in 255 even. Sri Bhagwan Vacha. How does it go? You know, forgetting the Sanskrit now. Even he doesn't engage his senses with a sense object. He knows they are just fabrications of the mind. But he may be an impersonalist. 255 could be a pure devotee, could be an impersonalist. He's on the level of Brahmabhut. But then, what may happen? What may happen to him? He will want to vishate, to enter the Brahman. Whereas we enter the Parabrahman, we enter the spiritual world. That's the same verb, vishate, yes. But we enter back to Paravyom, spiritual world. He enters Brahman. That's a major difference. Rajati Yadakaman 255. He gives up all varieties of self-gratification. His mind thus purified, finds satisfaction in himself alone. This is Brahmabhut, basically, 255. Again, you can come to Brahmabhut by dint of impersonal approach or by dint of bhakti. Is it okay, Goloka?
Yes, Babu.
So we have to be able to play with that, becoming one. Without diluting our philosophy, we should be able to explain what is it. Yes, we want to become one, but it's not the same oneness.
One.
This is the one. We are. Don't put words in my
Don't become
mouth.
equal.
Sorry.
We're not equal. We become one, but we're not equal to the Lord.
Yes, but we become one in interest. We become one in wrath. Yes, one. We have the same wrath. And even Damodar, we just finished. He says, "I'm sorry, as long as you have Ishvaya Gyan, Ishvaya Bhav, respect, grandeur, reverence, fear. I'm afraid you won't be able to go back to Golok. You may go to Vaikunt, yes. Ayodhya, even, yes. Dwarka, yes. You cannot enter Golok. So, this is...
When we talk about Dwarka, are we talking about Dwarka as one of the part of Vaikuntha or one is a part of Golok?
No. As far as I understand, it is not in Golok. It's before Golok. Golok has two chambers, Navadvip and Vrindavan. And on the outer world, outer ring, I would say, of Golok, you find Aishwarya Vrindavan. Very interesting. There is Madhurya Vrindavan in the world of the lotus, and two chambers, Navadvip Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Madhurya Vrindavan, Madhurya Bhav. But on the outer rim of the lotus of Golok, you find Aishwarya Vrindavan. That's also possible to go there. So Golok is the last stage, you know. They get off the train here, Mayavadis. They get off the train at Brahmabhut. We enter the train at Brahmabhut. You see the difference? And then we get off in Golok. So that's a major difference between our two paths. Major. Okay, so I mean, if you're okay with 55, we can move on. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too fast because, you know, but it's up to you. I mean, if you are following, no problem. So there's a verse, by the way, Kevalyam. What is that verse, Vignesh? Kevalya Narakarayati. It's a verse of Chaitanya Chandamrita. Anyway, I don't want to.
Yeah, okay. So it's like they're comparing the moksha to like a hell, comparing to the hell.
Yeah. See, it's phantasmagoria. Even going to Swagalok's phantasmagoria. Vishvam Purna Sukayate. That's the verse. Vishvam Purna Sukayate. It's a suk, Purna suk. This Brahman is Purna suk. Because if you have Samadarshana, at least you're trying Samadarshana, then Vishvam Purna Sukayate. It's Purna suk. Yeah. Because yes, I'm doing fine. I'm in this creation of Krishna. Okay, I'm trying my best. I'm going to die. Okay, but while doing so, I'm doing my best. So Krishna is not going to forget us. Okay, you didn't complete it. No problem. I'll give you another attempt. He's following us. He's behind us. He's coaching us. He's the coach. The others don't have a coach like Krishna. Major difference.
Yeah.
No coach. So where we are a little confused, let's see here. Yeah, I've got a nice quote. You may have it also, Vignesh, of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, between Labate and perform. This is beautiful. I've got a lot of quotes here.
Which verse?
On 50, 55, I believe. 54, 55.
Like a part of commentary.
Yeah, but it's quite lengthy. Yeah, if I get into that, wow, it's huge. I think I'll move on because I don't want to. Yeah, Vishwanath goes very, very deep. always.
Prabhu, could you give me just a reference for that? You talked about 2 Vrindavan, right? I was just thinking on that. The Madhurya Vrindavan and Aishwarya Vrindavan. Can you just tell me some reference for that?
It's I think you'll find in Brahma Samhita, commentaries on Brahma Samhita.
Okay.
I have to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to look it up. Perhaps, what's his name? Long back, Tamal Krishna Maharaj gave a beautiful seminar on Brahma Samhita, long back. 87, 80. Whew. That was the first time VIG was opening at that time.
Okay.
Okay, 50, where are we? 50?
6.
56.
Oh, you did. Yeah, you didn't discuss 50, 56.
Yeah, 56. We will be discussing 56. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace.
Yes, it's getting more and more beautiful, all the way. So here we are surrender to Krishna. It starts here basically to 66, Savadamam Parityaja. So this is Krishna's kindness. We're going to see more and more how Krishna is going to even relinquish his own words for the sake of loving Arjun. Arjun is quite perplexed still sometimes. And Krishna is going to forego his own words out of love for Arjun. So here, it starts here, 56. The devotee is feeling the Lord's protection, and this is depending on Krishna for all things. It's very high, actually. Freedom from anxiety. Mat prashadam, by my mercy, Krishna says, by my mercy, he achieves. What does he achieve? Shashvatam padam, the eternal abode. See, it's samudartha, teshamaham samudartha, is the swift deliverer. It's not like the path of the inactive sage. They have to struggle on their own. Krishna is saying here, mat prashadat, by my mercy. Savakarmani, all activities, whatever he does. There's no need of gyan, like we discussed just now, 50, 56, 53. Svakarmana tamabhyarcha is mentioned a little before we discussed. So under my protection, avapnoti, he achieves. So as soon as we have to understand, as soon as you do seva for Krishna, it's nirgun. If you stick to Anyabhilashita Shunyam, it's nirgun. You do the arti, you have to rush to be on time for the arti, you take your shower. It's nirgun. Even though 2 hours ago you were not nirgun, okay? But because you are on the altar, you're doing your seva, it's nirgun. You're on time, you're clean. You're doing your best while doing the arati. You work for Krishna, it's nirgun. If you don't work for Krishna, yes, what is the verse 3:5? You're bound to act according to the qualities you have acquired from the modes. So again and again and again, inactivity is not an option. Prabhupada is again making the same old point. Mat prashadam avapnoti shashvatam. So now there's a beautiful Vishwanath includes, he puts an excerpt here, not an excerpt, he puts a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. He has revealed that in his own Gita, but one way or the other, Prabhupada didn't. So this
Prabhu, if you're recording, you were seeing only your head.
Say it again? Oh, sorry.
If you
you have to tell me.
If you're recording, I see.
Yeah, I'm recording, of course. I hope I'm recording. Let's see. I want to double check because I think I'm recording. Yeah. Thank you to tell me. So this is the dialogue. A Sakam or Nishkam devotee attains my eternal abode, Vaikuntha, Mathura, Dwarka, or Ayodhya. But how do these various abodes persist at the time of total annihilation, Krishna? See? this discussion here. My abode is infallible, Arjun, and doesn't undergo any loss, even at the total annihilation of the universe. This is due to my inconceivable power. Then Arjun, but a Jnani, Krishna comes to the stage of Nishkarmya, 1.5.12, and achieves Sayuja only after many lifetimes of various austerities, and only after all the material action of his senses are ceased. How is it then that the devotees attain your eternal abode simply by taking shelter of you? 56. Even though you are still engaged in karma and still have material desires. Krishna, by my grace, this happens. You should understand that my mercy has inconceivable power. See? Isn't that amazing? Arjuna even is finding fault. I mean, not finding fault, but is questioning the validity of this path as compared to the path of the inactive stage. Krishna, in no way does the devotee accomplish the same in terms of hurdles, difficulties. It's much lighter for the devotee. How come he goes higher even? You're saying here, Shashvatam, Padam, Avyayam. It goes back to your abode. How could it be? See, even Arjuna questions, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. By my grace, this happens. Not Prashadat. You should understand that my mercy has inconceivable power. As given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 18th century.
You mentioned, Prabhu, that like even Sakama Bhakta can attain Dwarka, Mathura, right?
Well, let's see what Vishwanath says. A Sakama or Nishkam devotee attains my eternal abode, Vaikuntha, Mathura, Dwarka, or Ayodhya. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just thinking like Sakam means they have some desire, right? For a kind of satisfying their own senses. Does that mean Sakam? They don't want to they still have some tinge of calm and not prem. That is the meaning.
Well, I know Vishwanath, it's a very questionable point, because I had many exchanges with, this devotee, you may know him, Balaram Shakti. He lives in Madras, and now I think he was before he was in Chupati. And that was always my point with him, Vishwanath, if you look at 5.18.12 Bhagavatam, he doesn't agree that the Sukritina of 7.16 are Sakama. It's quite amazing, but it's like that. He doesn't agree. He says no, they are just in a mode of ignorance. They are devotees in a mode of ignorance, but sooner or later they will come to Nishkam. And even he says that at the perfect stage they will reach, it's called, Aishvarya Vaikuntha. They will go to Aishvarya Vaikuntha. That is, they will go to Vaikuntha, just like it's mentioned here, Vaikuntha, Mathura, Dwarka. So it's quite amazing if you look at 5.18.12. I was telling Balaram Shakti, Prabhupada quotes Vishwanath there, and Vishwanath saying, no, they're not Sakam. Even though we're discussing about Artha, Tarti, Jigyasu, especially the first two, usually they're called Sakam by other acharyas, even Prabhupada sometimes. But, Vishwanath doesn't agree. So, sometimes we find variations amongst acharyas. Vishwanath is by far, I would say, the most lenient, definitely, the most kripalu, I don't know if you noticed that, Vignesh.
I don't know. Like for me, it was like Prabhupada was far more lenient, because if you see the purport of Prabhupada, he doesn't give that distinction between Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra Bhakti, and all those technical things.
Prabhupada standing on his own pedestal.
He just directly goes on to Krishna consciousness and all those things without categorizing that.
Yeah, you're right. No, of course,
Distinction of
is always
devotees.
on his own pedestal. But amongst the other acharyas, Vishwanath would be the most lenient, I would say.
Yeah.
Not lenient, but the most open-minded, I would say.
He was, I think, called a Rasika Acharya. So I think he
Yeah.
had to give something.
Yeah.
And all those were technical.
Extremely kripalu, you know. Okay, it's 57.
Okay. Text 57. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me.
Yeah. So it's getting more and more beautiful, huh? See, and it's very interesting in 57. He speaks at the second person for Arjuna. You know, he speaks at the second person. So here, what is the practical application of Krishna's instruction for Arjuna? What does it mean, all this? Well, that's what it is. In all activities, just depend upon me.
Yeah.
Work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So we're talking about the attitude while doing the service.
Always think of Krishna.
Yeah.
Whatever, even in our practical devotional service that we are practicing also, somehow or other we have to think of Krishna only.
See, very interesting. Krishna doesn't say you have to be a strong devotee or you have to be a very advanced devotee, Arjuna. No, he's breaking it down in mouse pieces here.
Mm-hmm.
Just depend upon me. You are doing the puja, you are cooking, you're not a good cook, depend upon me. Work under my protection, means you feel safe, and be conscious of me. It doesn't say you have to be a Mahabhagwat and you have to be born in a smarta family, and no, just depend upon me. This is the attitude while performing bhakti. So, and he's talking about the second person here. And he has already mentioned all these things, nothing new. Way back, 330. The same point. First time in the Gita. Savakamani Madhi Sanyasya Matparaha. Remember? He already gave a clue way back. 330. Then he goes 10, I think it was 10.9, remember? 10.9. Buddhi Yogam Upashitya Machita Magata Prana Satatam Bhav. You know? Remember? 10.9?
Yeah.
Already, just depend. So this is basically the key of success, the dependence on Krishna. It's becoming more to the forefront now, more than ever. And remember, the 18th chapter is cut and paste from the whole Gita. So what are we? Yes, go ahead.
Before we go in all activities, even sometimes we have to do so-called material activities, still we have to depend on Krishna, isn't it?
If you do, it's not material. Not material. It's killing. Arjuna is going to kill.
Like people have to go and work and drive the car and
go shopping and
they do all this stuff, just to maintain the family. So all these activities.
This is Vishwanath.
It doesn't seem like it is spiritual, but you still have to depend on Krishna, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, we finish. If we depend
and we have to be conscious of Krishna and all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see the correlation here. We are 57, 50, up to 60. It's exactly what Krishna discussed in 330. Remember? Look it up. 330, 331, 333. It's exactly the same topic because 18th chapter is cut and paste. Look it up.
Yeah, in
Exactly
330. Surrounding all your works unto me with mind intent on me.
Cut and paste.
Yeah, without desire for gain and free from egoism, lethargy, and pride.
You can see it's imperative to surrender to him in full knowledge. 58, same story. 58, what is 58? If you become conscious of me, you will pass all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you don't work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. Look at 31, 32, same story. 31, those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions, who follow his teachings faithfully without envy, become free from the bondage of flesh. But 32, same story. But those who out of envy disregard these teachings, do not follow them, are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled, ruined. So he's repeating himself. Because 18th chapter is cut and paste. If you ignore the Bible, yes, Goloka?
Yeah, it's just a summary of all the chapters, 18
Exactly.
chapters.
You can practically follow. You can follow systematically where Krishna is driving at.
I was just thinking about like in this verse of 18.57, Krishna talks about Mat Prasadat, by my mercy, Sarva Durgani, you'll cross over all the obstacles.
Yeah.
I was just trying to connect with another verse from Bhagavatam where Krishna says that if I'm specially favoring someone, Mat Anugraha, then I take away all his
Yes, yeah.
problems. Yeah. So in a way, that is the kind of obstacles, right, that Krishna brings when he specially favors someone.
Yeah.
Now here it's exactly like opposite. In a way, it's like, dichotomy is there.
Exactly.
What is the verse in Bhagavatam? What is it exact? What canto is that?
It's 1088.8.
Yeah.
1088.8. Okay.
Yeah. This is Yudhishthira. Krishna is replying to Yudhishthira.
Yeah, this is a favorite verse that Prabhupada will say, like Krishna take away everything from him so that he can take sannyas and just come and preach.
Exactly. This is, Prabhupada used to repeat that verse then.
Yeah.
So you can see the duplication here. So now where we are a little lost. If you become conscious of me, 58 we covered.
No, we did 57. Now we're on 58.
Okay, so 58 basically it's 32, 332. It's ringing 332. So it says here, same story. The person in full Krishna consciousness is not unduly, very interesting. Unduly means overly anxious about executing the duties of his existence. He does it, but, basically the bare minimum, I would say. He's not unduly anxious. It's very interesting the way he phrases it. He's not overly anxious. He knows, because just like, remember the verse in 11th canto, if you serve Krishna Mukund purely, all the other, engagements you have towards your maids, your animals, the state are fulfilled. And again, Prabhupada is stressing the activity within Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we are lost in the material whirlpool. Yeah, so much repetition. He wants us to get the point. So 5960, we're dealing with 333 basically. Now you can go ahead, 59 and 60, each goes together.
Is that your turn? Ignis?
Yeah.
59 and 60 goes together basically.
59. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you'll be falsely directed. By your nature, you'll have to be engaged in warfare. 60. Under illusion, you're not declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you'll act all the same, O son of Kunti.
So it's exactly like 333, yeah? Exactly the same. It's like cut and paste, basically.
Yeah, it's very nice to tell people, because sometimes people want you to be like them, you know.
Yeah.
Your world, when you're dealing with each other, sometimes they want you to be, you know, like some parents will always compare one child, like, wow, how your brother can.
Yeah. So basically, here we're talking about, doing your duty in accordance with Krishna's desire. Otherwise, it's ahankara. So if we act according to Krishna's direction, even though we may not be advanced spiritually, not very big devotee, under the guidance of representative, then the result will be the same. You follow Prabhupada, you follow Krishna. It's not rocket science in one sense. You follow your guru. If your guru is Prabhupada conscious, that's it. I've been appointed to this seva, to discharge this particular seva for Krishna, then that's my connection with Krishna. If you think of Krishna while doing your seva, that's it. This is perfect. Oh, she got kicked out, Goloka, I see.
Yeah, she came back.
Yeah. So I guess I will leave the end of the Gita to our dear Chandrasekhar. I've done my job, 2 hours. And let him finish, because after all, you're coming from his institute, so you should have this privilege, I guess.
So you'll be starting Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu now? You'll be starting?
Yeah, so by the way, thank you to remind me, get that book. I'm going to be teaching a lot. I mean, I've been teaching according to that book for the last 20 years, the ways of devotion.
Yeah. I just got that PDF. I just got that book, yeah.
Goloka, Mataji.
Oh, yeah.
This
is Nectar Devotion. Yeah, I have it.
Because, I mean, I don't want to be, there's a reason for that. I may have told you. Jaita Maharaj told me himself, long back, perhaps 20 years ago. He told me the Nectar Devotion is not properly edited. Still today, I'm in touch with Narayani, Northeastern BBT in Sweden. She told me we're working on it. So practically all the Nectar of Devotion in ISKCON today, even in English, are not properly edited. And this Maharaj, I mean, he has done this book 20 years ago at least. What he did, he's not puffed up or anything. I can do better than Prabhupada. No. Waves of devotion he puts it very nicely. He says, the waves are born from the ocean and they go back into the ocean. So I'm just following exactly the delineation of Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So it's very well, extremely well choked out and extremely well delineated.
The other Nectar Devotion that we have is different, you said?
It's the same, but you will see how well structured it is, that book, because unfortunately, as I told you, the Nectar Devotion.
Is this a new edition or something?
Nothing new. I bought this book in 2003 in Vrindavan. This book is at least 20 years, 25 years.
Okay, yeah, because the Nectar Devotion I don't have the same cover.
Now, this is called Goloka, Waves of Devotion. It's a study guide for the Nectar of Devotion. Let's put it this way.
Oh, there's a study guide. Okay, where can we get it?
Well, Danuda Maharaj lives in America. Huh? You must be close to him. I'll send you the details. Okay, I'll send you.
I got a PDF from the internet.
Okay, so give the link to
Goloka. Yeah, you can send me.
I'll share the PDF file.
Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you.
Because, I mean, I don't want to do injustice to Nectar Devotion, but I notice for the last 20 years I've been teaching, the students are much more clear because it's very well structured. Very well structured.
Okay.
And you don't do injustice to Nectar Devotion. Jaita Maharaj himself told me, Nectar Devotion was edited by Ray Ram in 1968. 1968, we are in 22.
Yeah. Prabhu, when are we going to start Nectar Devotion?
Well, first of all, I want to see your essays. I want to, you recited your shloks, Vignesh didn't. And there's going to
Yeah,
be a closed
I will.
book, yeah? Don't forget.
Yeah.
Don't go quicker than the music.
Yeah, I already started my essay, and then I just need to edit it. And
So I will
everything.
have a break, you know, because there's nothing worse, you know, I start another book and you guys are lagging behind the previous book and you start panicking, and I know the story.
And how
I have
long
an
does
idea.
it
I just
take?
need to put it on the paper.
Yeah. No, we'll take 1 or 2 weeks off, not really.
Okay.
Okay.
And Prabhu, how long does it take to finish Nectar
Sorry.
Devotion?
Sorry?
If we don't have any break, how long does it take?
No, we're going to have a break. We're going to have a break.
No, for the Nectar Devotion, the duration of the Nectar
Oh,
Devotion.
Nectar Devotion, it's only, be careful, it's only Purva Vibhag, yeah? It's only Eastern Division, Eastern Ocean. So I would say there's 19 chapters. It's going to take, perhaps 2 months, 2 months and a half.
Then the last one we do Nectar Instruction.
Oh, this time session is 11 verses.
Yeah, that is short. Yeah.
But be careful, they are very dense, very lengthy and dense.
Yeah.
You cannot do 2 at a time. Usually when I teach Nectar of Instruction, I do 1 at a time. Shri Yeshua, I can do 2 now. But Nectar of Instruction is very dense. It's a manual of, you know, a daily manual of how to practice. So it's a very interesting book. Okay, so we covered a lot of grounds. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Next time when I join, I should join 9 o'clock, isn't it?
I don't know about you, but because I teach in half an hour, Goloka.
Yeah.
I cannot do 4 anymore. It's 3 for me. 3 to 5 for me.
3 to 5. Okay.
Make it a point, huh? Perhaps Chandra is different, but for me, it's 3 to 5 now.
Last week, what time did we start?
I think for Chandra Prabhu, it will be different because he has some issue of bandwidth on Sunday. He was saying about making that on Monday for him.
Is it?
So I think, yeah, he just a WhatsApp in the group. I think you can check that. He was confirming the time. Yeah.
Okay, I'll send you the recording, yeah? Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.